Alright, I'm going to break down some sheet goods today. I just got this new Makita 40-volt track saw. If you saw in my last video, I was just using the DeWalt cordless circular saw with the straight edge clamped on the board. This should be much easier. I'll show you what I did here with this drywall square. I know you can get attachments to make sure your track is 90 degrees to your workpiece, but I don't have that yet, so this is what I came up with, and we'll get everything laid out and see how it works. So you can see here what I did. I've got the Makita track saw rail, and I just clamped a drywall square on there just to keep me square with my workpiece, because I don't have an attachment yet to keep the track saw fence square. Makita, 1 battery, 40 volt. This will be my first time actually using it, so we'll see how it goes, and I'll let you know what I think, as opposed to using the circular saw and all that mess. And we're getting into our first cut here. You can see that I did in fact have to take that drywall square off. I thought it was a good idea, but it does not let the saw go far enough back on the guide, so I just got rid of it and just went with my marks, just overlapping the marks I placed on the boards just barely with the track. And you'll see here I am fumbling a lot on this first cut. I'm showing you guys this because if you get a track saw and you've never used one before, you will likely have some of the problems that I did on this first cut here. First of all, I set the depth to the material thickness, and I did not think about the track, so I had to adjust that a few times in the beginning. And then I had some 1/2-inch plywood scraps underneath this board for support, but I did not have them placed right up near the cut, so that larger piece kind of dropped down when I first made the cut and binded on the saw blade. Got that all situated, and everything will go smoother from here on out. How the measurements turned out. Really clean cut. Measurement stayed perfect. Let me see if I can show you this cut here. Absolutely no splintering on either side, which is nice. Better than the table saw, actually. I'm using the blade that came with the Makita saw. If anyone else has DeWalt, this is the attachment for the DeWalt accessories. Got the auto lock, but it actually fits perfect over the piece that comes with the Makita. So, just FYI. I'd say the dust extraction works pretty well too. Perfect. Now, we need to cut this in half. So we've got 40 and a 32nd. Two center marks, and we check it here. Looks perfect. Let's get our track back in place. And I'm just barely covering up my marks with the clearance strip here. Zero clearance strip that you cut when you first get the track. I'm using it to just barely cover up my marks. So it should cut exactly where we want it to. Put that on there. Check it for square, just for the hell of it. Looks good. Let's cut. Real quick, if you see me making 2 passes, it has this scoring function. You push this little knob in here and it just cuts into the material a little bit. Just to eliminate any tear out, you pull that back and it allows you to go to whatever you have your depth set at. And just to show you again, see if I can do this here. There is absolutely no tear out along these edges. It's a nice cut. Check it, even on the back side. It's perfect. Just to show you a little more about the track saw on the track. This is a 55-inch track that I bought with the saw. It has your 0 clearance rubber strip here that will get cut the first time you use the saw. It's got these 2 cushiony sticky pads. They are replaceable. You can see I was using that with no clamps. I would say as long as your workpiece is supported good and there's no bow in it, you don't need the clamps. Of course, it's always good assurance if you had them. But if you're cutting anything that's bowed or that's hanging out, you definitely would want to clamp that. Get the saw here. 140 volt battery, it's a 4 amp hour that comes with this kit. You can see here you've got your angle adjustments, your quick steps, and right here is your depth stop. You have these 2 knobs here to tighten or loosen it on the track, and they just push out these rubber pieces here, these rubber wheels. And then you also have this clip which locks you into the track if you're, say, cutting at a 45-degree angle, just to help you keep the saw from trying to fall out. Comes with the Allen key to change the blade, and that's pretty easy as well. You can lock it down right here. Lock that down, loosen that Allen key, you can take your blade out. That's pretty much it. Oh, another feature that it has that I'm not using, this Bluetooth here. If you have their dust collector or maybe one that's compatible, it has that Bluetooth function, so it will automatically kick on the dust collection when you start cutting, which is pretty cool. I don't. I have a rigid shop vac and a little HD special dust collection system, which works fine. But maybe one day I'll get that. The rest of these cuts I can make with the table saw, so we're gonna move over there. Or so I thought I could make the rest with the table saw. You'll probably see me going back and forth a few times between the table saw and the track saw. And in the end, I'll tell you that all these cuts could have been made with the track saw, but not all of them could have been made with the table saw, at least not safely or efficiently. So back and forth, but we'll get it all done here. Onto the table saw here, you'll see me just setting up to make some rip cuts. And yes, my so-called outfeed table gets in the way. The height is not perfect, especially when you have it scooted away from the saw. Boards jam up against it. That is on my list to make a new one. So hopefully not too long you'll see that video come out, making a new outfeed assembly table that works better and more stable and proper height adjustment. All right, we got everything ripped on the table saw. Now let's make the rest of these cuts and I'll be done. Since I already ripped these on the table saw, I am just lining up the side that I'm measuring from, putting this little quick clip on there to hold them together while I make my measurements. Alright, I think that's it for the track saw. I have to trim a little more off these two pieces, but I'm going to do it on the table saw. There's no reason not to. I used a combination of the table saw and the track saw as you saw the saws. All these cuts could have been made with the track saw. They could not have all been made with the table saw reasonably. Would have had to turn the board so it was 4 foot this way, 8 foot that way, and I've done that before with the help of my wife, supporting the long end, but it's far from ideal. Track saw is a good investment, I believe. Everybody raves about them, brand new to me, but I would definitely buy it again, and I'm happy with the Makita. Now, the corded version, I could have got the saw and the 55-inch track for like $480. This was $630 for the saw by itself, and like another $100 for the track, I think, maybe a little less. So it's a few $100s more than the corded version, but portability is key, even though you have dust collection. But I mean, you take it to a job site, you can use it without dust collection, and you've got no cords to fuss with. So I would go this route again. So let me know what you guys think. If you have a track saw, you have the Makita track saw, the new 40 volt. What are your thoughts on it? If you have any comments, let me know. Please subscribe, like this video. I'd appreciate it very much.